Hello everyone, in this video we are going to go over how to convert imperial units of area. So the concepts covered in this video are going to be very similar to the ones that we talked about in module 1 when we covered area. So if you need to refresh your memory on what area is and what it means, please go back and watch that video from module 1. So in the imperial system, we're using imperial units. These are units such as inches, feet, yards, and miles. And to measure area, we need to use units of area. So the units of area that we will be using are square inches, and we can represent them this way, inches squared. There's also square feet, and we normally use square feet when we're measuring the space, the floor space of a home or an apartment or something like that. We also have square yards. So that would be yards squared like this. And then we have square miles. And that's for really, really big areas like cities and provinces and countries and things like that. So notice how in every single case there is a 2 out front. By the way, this is just a little comma, so I can get rid of it. So this 2 represents the fact that we're working within square units. We're working in 2 dimensions, length and width. Okay, so now that we know the units that we'll be working with, let's look at how we convert between units of area, imperial units of area. First of all, we're going to need our conversion chart, and this is in your formula sheet. We know that 1 foot is equivalent to 12 inches, 1 yard is equivalent to 3 feet, 1 yard is also equivalent to 36 inches. And if we compare miles and yards, then 1 mile is equivalent to 1,760 yards. Okay, I've also included this little handy tool here, and I recommend that you either take a screenshot or write it down somewhere in your notes. This is really important. And it's a little shortcut. It teaches you how to convert from one unit to another. So if you're converting, let's say, yards to feet, we're going from here to here. So you see how the direction of the arrow moves that way? So we multiply by 3. If we're converting from feet to yards, we're going this way, follow the directions of the arrow, and we divide by 3. Let's say, for example, I want to go from inches to yards. So I'm hopping twice from one unit to another. So from inches to yards, I'm going 1, 2. So you divide twice. Divide by 12, divide by 3. Okay? If you're going from, say, yards to inches, you go times 3 times 12. You do both operations. Okay? Or you can just say times 36, because 3 times 12 is 36. Okay? So this is going to be a handy tool that we're going to use during this lesson. So now let's try to make connections between what we already know about converting units, just normal imperial units of length, to imperial units of area. So to make that connection, I have a square, and I'm going to say that this square it measures 1 foot by 1 foot. Okay? That means the area of this square is 1 feet squared, or one square foot, basically. I'm going to write this a little bit better. I'm going to say 1 square foot like this. Okay? Now, what if I want to represent this area, which is 1 square feet? What if I want to represent it as square inches? How would I do that? So, what we can do in this case is we can figure out the measure of 1 foot in inches. So we know from our conversion chart, if I go up here, I can see that 1 foot is equivalent to 12 inches. So down here, instead of writing 1 foot, I'm just going to write 12 inches. Okay? And here as well, instead of writing 1 foot, I'm going to write 12 inches. Okay? Now, to find the area is equal to length times width, correct? So here it would be 12 inches times 12 inches, which is equal to 144 inches squared. Now, why is it inches squared? Because inch times inch is inches squared. Okay, I have two of them multiplied by one another. So that means that the area of the square in square inches is 144 square inches. So these two are essentially equal to one another. So to make the connection, what actually happened here is I took the conversion of feet to inches and then I multiplied it by itself. So instead of going, well, from foot to inches, I multiply by 12, I'm going to times 12 and then times 12 again because I'm working in 2 dimensions. So I multiply twice. Okay? So that's basically the summary of how to convert units of area. You take your conversion and you multiply it twice, or you divide it twice, depending on which way you're going. So now let's do an example. I'm going to convert 2.5 square feet to square inches. So the two units that I'm working with are square feet, square inches. I am going to find the relationship, the conversion between feet and inches. And notice that I'm going from feet to inches. So I'm going to go up to my diagram. I'm going from, let me erase all my doodles. I am going from feet to inches this way. So the conversion is times 12. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my question. And I know that to go from feet to inches, I multiply by 12. Okay, so I have 2.5 square feet. How many square inches is that? To go from feet to inches, we said we multiply by 12. But because this is area, I multiply by 12 twice. So on your calculator, you can do this with me. Go 2.5 times 12 times 12, and that equals 360. Now, could you have multiplied these first? Sure, why not? Times 12 is 144. So 2.5 times 144 is also equal to 360. Same answer. Okay? Let's do another example. If you'd like, if you feel confident enough, pause the video, try this by yourself, and then check your answer with me. So here we're converting from square feet to square yards. So I'm going from feet to yards. I'm going to go to my conversion chart, and I'm going to find the feet and yards conversion. And I'm going to go in that order. Okay? So feet to yards, I'm going from here to here in this direction. So I am dividing by 3. So I'm going to write that down next to my question. So to go from feet to yards, I divide by 3. Okay? So to go from square feet to square yards, I'm going to divide by 3 twice. Okay? You can do it step by step if you like. You can go 1260 divided by 3, and that gives me 420. Then take 420 and divide by 3 again, and that gives me 140. So my answer is 140 yards squared. Okay, let's try another question. Now we're converting from yards squared to inches squared. So I'm going to go up to my conversion chart, and I want to know from yards to inches, what do we do? Okay. So from yards to inches, let me erase all of this first so it's clear. Okay. So from yards to inches, okay. Well, we don't know what that is, right? But I can figure it out. I'm actually going to draw that line up here because I'm going in this direction. Okay, so it's times 3 times 12. Okay, so what does that mean, times 3 times 12? Well, multiply it in your calculator right now. That gives you times 36. So to go from yards to inches, I'm going from here to here, then from here to here. So times 3 times 12, that's times 36, because 3 times 12 is 36. So now I'm going to go down to my question, To go from yards to inches, I multiply by 36. So if I have 2 square yards and I want to know what that equals in square inches, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to times by 36 times by 36 twice, because this is area, right? So 2 times 36 is 72. And then 72 times 36 is 2,592. That's a very big number, right? So this is how we convert from square yards to square inches. All right, now let's do a word problem, okay? So again, you can always pause and try this by yourself. So a sheet of printer paper measures 8.5 inches by 11 inches. Darcy says that this is almost 1 square foot. Is Darcy correct? And explain your answer. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking this piece of paper. I'm going to sketch it. This is 8.5 inches because it's the shorter side, and this is 11 inches. Okay, these are the sides of the paper though. This is not the area of the paper, and we know that this unit represents area because there's that square at the top. There's that 2 at the top. Okay, so in order to figure out if Darcy is correct, I need to find the area of this piece of paper. Okay, and this paper is basically a rectangle. So to find the area, I take length and I multiply it by width. Now, there are 2 methods in which we can approach this question. I'm going to show you both. When you solve questions in your assignment, you can pick whichever method you like, but I will ask you to at least understand or know what both methods are and where they come from. Okay, just be aware of what the 2 methods are. Okay, the first method is we're going to calculate the area first and then fix the units if they need fixing. So let's start with the area. The area is length times width. My length is 11 inches and my width is 8.5 inches. Now when I multiply those together, I get 93.5 inches squared. Please pay attention to your units. Now, how can I compare this measure to this measure? I can't. The units are different. It's like they speak different languages. I need to convert one into the other so I can compare the 2 units. So they should both be in square feet or in square inches. What I'm going to do is I'm going to convert the 93.5 inches squared into square feet. Okay, so here we go. 93.5 square inches equals how many square feet? Okay, question mark. So to solve that conversion, I'm going to go to my conversion charts. Just bear with me as I scroll through all my pages. We're going from inches to feet. Okay, so we're going from inches to feet this way. So I divide by 12. Okay, so let's write that down. To go from inches to feet, we divide by 12. But this is area, everyone. So we're going to divide by 12 2 times. Okay, so here's the first time. 93.5 divided by 12. And that gives me a very long number. Blah, 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 blah. And then I'm going to take that number and I'm going to divide it by 12 again. So that gives me 0.65. Your questions will tell you how to round. I'm going to take 2 decimal places, but in the assignment, it'll be more clear. So this means that the area of this piece of paper is 0.65 square feet. So is Darcy correct? No. Darcy is incorrect. Because the area is 0.65 square feet as demonstrated above. So we have solved this problem. Now I'm going to show you another method. In this other method, we're not going to find the area first. We're going to convert the units of this piece of paper first and then find the area. So I'm going to draw the piece of paper again. This is 8.5 inches. This is 11 inches. Note how I'm always writing my units because I need to know what that number means. Is it 8.5 feet, inches, miles? So you should always write your units. So to find the area of this piece of paper in square feet, you can choose to convert these inches into feet first. Okay, so remember, to go from inches to feet, we divide by 12. So 8.5 divided by 12, one second, gives me 0.7083 feet. Okay, what a nice number. 11 divided by 12 gives me 0.9166, and so on. Okay, so now I have the length and width in feet. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate the area, but this time in feet, not inches. So the length in feet is 0.9166 feet, and the width in feet is 0.7083 feet. Okay, now to find the area, I multiply them. 0.7083, and that gives me 0.64922 ... I'm going to round it to 0.65, and then feet times feet is feet squared, or square feet. So the same answer we got in the first method. So this area is 0.65 square feet. So what's different? Not much. We just decided to convert this first before we find the area, so that the area is in square feet. In the first method, we kept everything in inches. We found the area in square inches, and then we converted that to square feet. So both methods are okay. So this concludes our lesson on how to convert between imperial units of area.